So in here, I'm going to talk a little bit about the technical side of what makes a global multi-user coordination system. So Disasterfield is made up of a proprietary network and system architecture designed by Vexel in order to integrate multiple technologies into the system to be able to deliver that forward agnostically and universally to its Disasterfield users who are working with the system in the network. By bringing that information together, or bringing these different technologies together, what we're able to do is we're be able to take on the responsibility ourselves to figure out what is the best, most cutting edge aircraft, whether that's manned or unmanned aircraft, communications equipment, sensors, open source data streams that are relevant, to disaster management and monitoring, as well as the artificial and machine learning layer within our unique network architecture or unique system architecture, which allows us to be able to ingest that data and be able to push that data out through a common operating picture or a common operating user interface, which we've selected as being TAC in this case. The Team Awareness Kit is very unique in its nature. It's a open source data sharing platform that operates in a very, very effective way to be able to share real-time information, communicate effectively on the disaster field, and be able to engage with the different technologies available in their toolbox to be more efficient and close the reactionary gap in decision making. With Disasterfield, the idea is that each one of these fire departments, police agencies, Indigenous communities, businesses such as an oil and gas company, mining, you name it, we don't want them to be burdened by the complexity of technology and how it's evolving. We take on the responsibility to provide server management, the back-end troubleshooting, and maintenance on behalf of all of our network users, so that that responsibility or that burden is not passed on to that fire department or that police agency or business as a whole. We provide the individuals within our company who have the experience, the skill set learned after decades on the battlefield, in emergency management, in disaster management, and public safety. We brought in the best of the best in order to be able to provide that solution to our Disasterfield users. A big value proponent with Disasterfield is that Vexel's able to bring in the technologies. We do the research. We make sure that it's the most relevant. We make sure that the sensors, the cameras, you name it, are unique and useful. Like, we make sure that they're useful to the end user on a universal level. So having spent some time in the military, a big part of what I've observed was that no matter how many different militaries came together, they all operated on one universal network, intelligence and communication network. That was established prior to conducting any of the missions. That was established well prior to even the war starting. And that was maintained all the way through being able to conduct all these different missions and do them effectively. They're pulling from one ISR support. They're operating on multiple networks, but in the same infrastructure, which allowed everyone to be able to flow conducively while in that environment. Coming over to the private space in disaster specifically, oil and gas logistics, you name it, all of these different groups were struggling or have been struggling to be able to find that universal connection. We have multiple groups, 39 agencies coming together, private contractors, Indigenous community, everybody who's involved in disaster planning and training, disaster response and recovery, all coming together only to have this complete disconnection. So Disasterfield is that global multi-user coordination system that allows everyone to be able to operate and train in their own environments, in their own silos, if you will, or their own groups, but not be disconnected when they come together on the disaster field. What happens is that they're able to be connected through ISR support, through nodes, and through our mesh over SATCOM communications infrastructure, as well as being able to be connected, directly through the common user interface and common operating picture. What Disasterfield is designed to do is to establish the tactical two-way communication and data flow from the front lines of a disaster all the way back to the command center, all the way to the community level, and of course a layer for the general public to have better situational awareness on where to go, when to go there, and how to lower the stress on the local resources and the emergency management groups that are trying to respond to the event.